We affirm that God, who created the skies, earth, and the throne Al-Arsh, existed before creating the skies and earth and Al-Arsh without a place. And after creating them, God does not change. Hence, God exists without a place. The Quran teaches us that God does not resemble any of His creation. Allah Ta'ala said, لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ. The verse means nothing resembles Allah at all. And whatever is in a place has a volume. It means it is created. Volumes, shapes, sizes, bodies, all these are created. And for sure, God is not attributed with having a volume. So God exists without a place, as He did before creating the earth, the skies, and Al-Arsh, the throne. And keep in mind that the verses of the Quran do not contradict each other. So be warned against those who liken God to His creation. The verse Ar-Rahmanu ala al-Arsh istawa means the throne is subjugated by Allah. However, this Mushabbihah group, this group that likens God to His creation, they falsely claim that the verse means that Allah sits on the throne. But they said we do not know how the sitting is. And by that they negated the verse لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ. They went against this verse. The verse means nothing resembles Allah in any way. And sitting is a characteristic of the creation. Humans and animals sit. It is not befitting to be attributed to Allah. Now listen to how one of these misguided Mushabbihah is belying the Quran by misinterpreting the verses and misguiding people by that.
That's three in one. The first question asked by her niece, that where is Allah? And she stumbled across the verse of Surah said that Allah is on Arsh, and that's correct. But the answer of yours is correct, that Allah is established on His throne. But Allah also says in Surah Shu'ara chapter number 42 verse number 11, لَيْسَ لَكَ مِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ. There is nothing whatever like Him. Allah hears and sees, but Allah does not hear and see like you and me, like our ears and our eyes. So you say, how is the Arsh? You start thinking of a chair. How is Allah's Arsh? Allah Allah. So Quran says Allah is on Arsh, that is the right answer. And His Arsh extends throughout. We have a thinking, Arsh how. So whatever description is given in Hadith, we accept it. We don't add to it. There are various Hadith. There is a Hadith of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam that the lady came to a lady was there. And Prophet wanted to test her. Is she a mu'min or not? So the Prophet asked her. Well, she said on top. The Prophet said she has Iman. That's the reason when we do dua, we put our hand on the top. Correct?
Yeah.
So you can give the answer, Allah is on top, that's also correct. Allah is on Arsh, that's also correct. Both.
You heard how he mentioned the verse لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ, but right away he went against it by attributing sitting to God. Brothers and sisters in Islam, nowhere in the Quran is it mentioned that God sits. Nowhere is the term yajlis referred to Allah in the Quran, because the verses of the Quran do not contradict each other. The Quran teaches لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ هَلْ تَعْلَمُ لَهُ سَمِيًّا وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. And the term stawa has 15 meanings in the Arabic language. Some of these 15 befit to be attributed to God, and some do not. And among their meaning is to subjugate, which befit to be attributed to Allah. And among its meanings is to sit, which does not befit to be attributed to Allah. These Mushabbihah left out the meanings that are befitting to be attributed to God, such as that the throne is subjugated by Allah, and instead they use the term sitting. Zakir Naik claimed that God sits, but he said we don't know how. Doesn't he know that whatever sits must have a body, upper part and a lower part? Doesn't he know that bodies are created? He claimed we don't know how. But doesn't he know that the question how is asked about created things? how is the form, or how is the shape, or how does it look? All these are used to describe creations, but the term how does not apply to the Creator. Sitting, regardless of how it is an attribute of creations that have bodies. And then he claimed that God is in the sky, and he accused the Prophet of having said that. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. The Prophet ﷺ does not contradict the Quran. This hadith, referred to as Hadith al-Jariyah, the scholars disagreed about its authenticity due to the different narrations. And the ones that confirmed it, they said that the Prophet ﷺ asked her about her belief about the status of God, and she replied by saying "Fis sama," which literally means in the sky, and the scholars said she meant by that God has a very high status. The term ayn in the Arabic language is used for places and for asking about the status. Some scholars said that the hadith is not true, and some said that the woman was mute, meaning she couldn't speak. And even the ones that said that she replied by saying "Fis sama," they said she meant that God has a high status.